I want to give all the praise and all the glory unto Yahawah, bahashem, Yahawahshi, bahashem, Rikakwadash. Double honors goes out to the elder apostles of Great Millstone for teaching me this truth. Also, I want to acknowledge all the Akyam who are pushing this truth with sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. And Shalom to the elect. All right. So I'm going to go in on 1 Kings, the 18th chapter, and just pull out precepts through the Spirit. So I'm going to go ahead and start reading at verse 17. It says, "And it came to pass when Ahab saw Elijah that Ahab said unto him, Art thou he that troubleth Israel? And he answered, I have not troubled Israel, but thou and thy father's house, and that ye have forsaken the commandments of Yahawah, and thou hast followed Baalim. Now therefore send and gather to me all Israel unto Mount Carmel, and the prophets of Baal 450, and the prophets of the groves 400, which eat at Jezebel's table." So basically, this is just an account of showing you our strength as prophets of Yahawah, bahashem, Yahawahshi. These false prophets, they can't compare to the men who are pushing this truth according to the sound doctrine, all right? These other prophets, even the ones of Israel who are claiming to be prophets, when they're not pushing the sound doctrine, they have no power. So that's what he's going into. When you're pushing when you're pushing a doctrine that doesn't pertain to the truth, to the way it's written, it automatically makes you a false prophet, and you have no power. All right, the power lies with the true prophets with sound doctrine. And the prophets of Yahawah, bahashem, Yahawahshi. Okay, so let's keep reading. Now therefore send and gather to me all Israel unto Mount Carmel, and the prophets of Baal 450, and the prophets of the groves 400, which eat at Jezebel's table. So Ahab sent unto all the children of Israel, and gathered the prophets together unto Mount Carmel. And Elijah came unto all the people, and said, How long halt ye between two opinions? If Yahawah be the Most High, follow him. But if Baal, then follow him. And the people answered him not a word. All right. So Elijah the prophet was calling them out. He was calling them out on their madness. And that's the same thing we do. That's why our elders, they're constantly on the other camps, because that's as being in this ministry, being in this truth, part of our job is to defend the gospel, you see, or that is our job, not part of it, I should say, that is our job, defend the gospel. And when you have, false prophets of Israel, or any prophet, that's where we step in, and we you got to call them out. That's why our elders, that's what they do, you see. You might say, oh, well, Elder Apostle Tahar, or Elder Gabar, or Elder Apostle Ramlab, oh, well, they're always, talking bad about the other prophets of Israel. But hey, this is what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to defend the gospel, right? Let me get a precept. Let's see, I'll go in 1 Peter 3:15. It says, let me see. Well, I'll give you this. I'll use this. But sanctify Yahawah the Most High in your hearts, and be ready always to give an answer to every man that asketh you a reason of the hope that is in you with meekness and fear, having a good conscience, that whereas they speak evil of you as of evildoers, they may be ashamed that falsely accuse your good conversation in Hamashiach. For it is better, if the will of the Most High be so, that ye suffer for well-doing than for evil-doing. You see? So going into, we need to be prepared, and when there are men being hypocrites, calling themselves prophets, and they're teaching according to their own opinions, according to their own thoughts, their own beliefs, or just, like I say, unsound doctrine, then we got to be ready to step in and defend the gospel. That's our job, right? And it's okay to call them out, just like Elijah, in what we're reading, 1 Kings 18, he's calling these false prophets of Israel out, calling them out on their bullshit. And that's the same thing our elders do, you see? So let's keep reading in 1 Kings 18. You always have to be ready to have an answer. Be ready to defend this gospel, all right? Let me see. 1 Kings 18 and 22. Let's see. Let me read 22. It says, Then said Elijah unto the people, I, even I only, remain a prophet of Yahawah, but Baal's prophets are 450 men, right? So out of all those men, 450 of them were false prophets. But Elijah was the only prophet in this chapter we're reading that was a prophet of Yahawah bahashem Yahawahshi. All right? Let them therefore give us 2 bullocks, and let them choose one bullock for themselves, and cut it in pieces, and lay it on wood, and put no fire under it. And I will dress the other bullock, and lay it on wood, and put no fire under it. All right? So he's basically challenging them. He's right. Elijah, is telling them, let's set up a sacrifice, and let's keep reading, see what happens. Verse 24, and call ye on the name of your gods, and I will call on the name of Yahawah, and the God that answereth by fire, let him be God. And all the people answered and said, it is well spoken, right? So he's challenging them. He's saying, let's do a sacrifice. You see, you guys call on your gods, and I'm going to call on Yahawah. Let's keep reading. And Elijah said unto the prophets of Baal, choose you one bullock for yourselves, and dress it first. For ye are many, and call on the name of your gods, but put no fire under. So that was the deal. They were going to basically, he's setting them up, right? He's saying, let's do a sacrifice. We're going to call on our gods. I'm going to call on Yahawah. You call on your gods, and let's see what happens. You see? And that's what we do. We challenge people. We're like, okay, we tell you, go ahead. You want to call on that name, Jesus Christ. You want to worship the demon Jesus Christ, which is basically Baal, right? We tell them, hey, go ahead. You call on your God on the day of destruction, on the day of wrath, on the day of trouble. Call on that name, Jesus Christ, and see what happens. See if that saves you, right? That's what we do. We challenge these heathen, which are 2/3 of our people are heathen. So we're like, yeah, you go ahead. We're going to challenge you. You call on that name, Jesus Christ. Let's see if he delivers you, right? I'm challenging you right now. You think that Jesus Christ is going to deliver you? Call on that name. You bank on that name. If that's what you believe in, you see, because you got men who are Yahawah bahashem Yahawahshi set up, that are giving you the true names. And those are the names, those are the only names that could be, that can save you. All right? No other names can save you. Verse 25, and Elijah said unto the prophets of Baal, choose you one bullock for yourselves and dress it first, for ye are many, and call on the name of your gods, but put no fire under. And they took the bullock which was given them, and they dressed it and called on the name of Baal, morning even until noon, saying, O Baal, hear us. But there was no voice, nor any that answered, and they leaped upon the altar which was made. See, so, well, let's keep reading. It says in verse 27, and it came to pass at noon that Elijah mocked them and said, cry aloud, for he is a god. Either he is talking, or he is pursuing, or he is in his journey, or peradventure he sleepeth and must be awaked. See, so now he's clowning on him, right? Now he's clowning on him, you see? So he's basically mocking, like it says, he mocks them. So, when we go out there and we mock these heathen for all of their bullshit and their foolery that they come up with, people will look at us and they say, oh man, these guys are not the men of the Lord. Look how they're acting. They're making fun of people and blah, 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 this and that. But just like Elijah, hey, when we have every right to mock you if you ain't coming in the true doctrine. You see, we have every right to mock you and to make you look stupid when it comes to this truth. People will say, oh, well, that ain't right. You're not a man of God if you're acting like that, if you're making fun of people and this and that. But this is proof right here that the true prophets of the Lord, we can mock all these false prophets. We can mock all these heathen that believe in witchcraft and sorcery and false philosophies, false doctrines, you see? So you need to learn the scripture before you start making assumptions, all right? The men of the Lord, the true men of Yahawah, bahashem, Yahawahshi, and we can mock you if you ain't coming in with the true doctrine. If you ain't coming with 100% sound doctrine, you see? Verse 28, and they cried aloud and cut themselves after their manner with knives and lancets till the blood gushed out upon them. And it came to pass when midday was past, and they prophesied until the time of the offering of the evening sacrifice, that there was neither voice nor any to answer, nor any that regarded. Right? So these prophets of Baal, which just like Elijah, we're outnumbered, right? There's more false prophets in Babylon, America, that are calling on that name Jesus Christ, which is an example of Baal, than there are true prophets, which are calling on the true names Yahawah, bahashem, Yahawahshi. You see? So we're just like our forefather Elijah. He's outnumbered by the false prophets. Same thing happening right now and today. You see? But people don't realize, they don't understand this. You see, they think, oh, they got the numbers, so they got to have the truth, right? But what does the scriptures say? It says, do not follow a multitude to do evil, right? Let me get that real quick. And the multitude is with the fake-ass Christianity. It's not with the truth. We have small numbers. There's way less men who are prophesying correctly and according to the way the Bible's written than we're outnumbered by these false prophets. All right? And that's why we constantly defend the gospel, because you got a lot of false prophets, leading our people astray. You see? So that's, let's see, Exodus 23:2, it says, thou shalt not follow a multitude to do evil, neither shalt thou speak in a cause to decline after many to wrest judgment. See? So thou shalt not follow a multitude to do evil. A multitude means a large number. Okay? So just because there's a large number doing something, that doesn't mean they're righteous. That doesn't mean they have the truth, right? Right, here's a good example. We're reading about Elijah. He's only one prophet in this chapter, and there's 450 prophets of Baal, which really Baal goes into anything that is against this truth, that doesn't go in line with the truth. So if you're prophesying, if you're prophesying anything that is off, then you're automatically a false prophet. See, and there's more men who are falling under that category than men who are teaching sound doctrine. All right. Let me get back to Kings 18 and 24. Oh no, I'm sorry. I was at 28. Because remember, Elijah mocked them. He's like, oh, your God must be taking a nap, or maybe he's talking to somebody, or because they were calling on the names of Baal, but nothing was happening to the offering, right? It wasn't being burnt up. It wasn't being sacrificed. Why? Because there's no power in Baal. There's no power in that name, Jesus Christ. If you're stupid enough to call on that name on the day of the Lord, you're gonna be burned in the fire, which is nuclear fire in that day, right? Verse 28. Or no, I'm sorry. Let's see, where we at? 29. And it came to pass, when midday was past, that they prophesied until the time of the offering of the evening sacrifice, and there was neither voice nor any to answer, nor any that regarded. And Elijah said unto all the people, come near unto me. And all the people came near unto him, and he repaired the altar of the Lord of Yahawah that was broken down. And Elijah took 12 stones according to the number of the tribes of the sons of Jacob, unto whom the word of Yahawah came, saying, Israel shall be thy name. With the stones he built an altar in the name of Yahawah, and he made a trench about the altar as great as would contain 2 measures of seed. And he put the wood in order, and cut the bullock in pieces, and laid him on the wood, and said, fill 4 barrels with water, pour it on the burnt sacrifice and on the wood. So you see, now Elijah, he was a true prophet of Yahawah, bahashem, Yahawahshi. So now he was getting ready to prove all the people wrong. He was getting ready to expose them false prophets, right? He's preparing his sacrifice on the altar, right? Let's see what happens. And he said, do it the second time. And they did it the second time. And he said, do it the third time. And they did it the third time. And the water ran round about the altar, and he filled the trench also with water. And it came to pass at the time of the offering of the evening sacrifice that Elijah the prophet came near and said, Yahawah, the power of Abraham, Isaac, and of Israel, let it be known this day that thou art God in Israel, and that I am thy servant, and that I have done all these things at thy word. You see? So now he's calling on the true names. He's calling on the true names of Yahawah, bahashem, Yahawahshi, right? And he said, let it be known that I'm the servant. That's how it's going to be with us, man. We're going to call on those true names. We're going to be sincere, because we know there are true prophets of Yahawah, bahashem, Yahawahshi, which are 144,000 in number, right? Which that's actually a small number when you look at all the people on the planet Earth. It's like 8 billion. So, is it? Yeah. So that's a small number. Let me see here real quick. Yeah, it's like 8 billion people make up the people on the earth right now. So 144,000, when you do the math, that's a tiny number. It's way less than 1%, all right? So that's not the multitude, right? We're the minority when it comes to the prophets. We're definitely a minority, which is less than 1% of the population of the earth when you do the math. So let's see what happens. Verse 37. Hear me, O Yahawah, hear me, that this people may know it, that thou art Yahawah the power, and that thou hast turned their heart back again. Then the fire of Yahawah fell and consumed the burnt sacrifice, and the wood, and the stones, and the dust, and licked up the water that was in the trench. You see, so Elijah, he called on the true name, Yahawah. And guess what? That sacrifice got burnt up along with the wood and the water. It dried up, right? So he did this in the sight of all the people, right? Let me keep reading. Verse 39. And when all the people saw it, they fell on their faces, and they said, Yahawah, he is the God. Yahawah, he is the power, the Most High. He is the Most High. You see? So Elijah called on Yahawah, and his sacrifice, his offering was burnt up immediately, right? Exposing those false prophets. This is how it's going to be in these latter days. This is how it's going to be during Jacob's trouble. People are going to witness, events just like we just read, where the true men of the Lord are going to call on the true names of Yahawah, bahashem, Yahawahshi, and the people are going to witness these things. It's going to cause them to believe. It's going to cause them to come into the fold of Yahawah, bahashem, Yahawahshi, right? I'm going to read verse 40. It says, And Elijah said unto Ahab, Get thee up, eat and drink, and there is a sound of abundance of rain. So Ahab went up to eat and to drink, and Elijah went to the top of Carmel, and he cast himself down upon the earth, and he put his face between his knees. And he said to his servant, Go up now, look toward the sea. And he went up and looked, and there is nothing. And he said, Go again 7 times. And then it came to pass at the 7th time that he said, Behold, there ariseth a little cloud out of the sea, which is a chariot, like a man's hand. All right, so this chariot was about the size of a man's hand, because the chariots can manifest into basically anything they want. But this one was shaped like a man's hand, and it was a small chariot. Right, the chariots can come in all sizes, all shapes and sizes. It says, and he said, Go up and say unto Ahab, Prepare thy chariot and get thee down, that the rain stop thee not. And it came to pass in the meanwhile that the heaven was black with the clouds and wind, and there was a great rain, and Ahab rode and went to Jezreel. And the hand of Yahawah was on Elijah, and he girded up his loins and ran before Ahab to the entrance of Jezreel. See? So right after that miracle there was a small chariot that appeared. So, there's going to be all kind of miracles which are going to be performed. And during this time of Jacob's trouble that we're coming into, the men of the Lord are going to be, who are calling on the true names, who have the true faith. We're going to be able to do these miraculous things in the sight of the people, which is going to cause them to believe in this truth, you see. So I'm going to go ahead and close out on that. But I want to give all the praise and all the glory unto Yahawah, bahashem, Yahawahshi, bahashem, Rakakudash. Double honors goes out to the elder apostles of Great Millstone for teaching me this truth. Also want to acknowledge all the Akim who are pushing this truth with sincerity, and shalom to the elect. Shalom.